Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing great. We're going to talk about commercial mortgage-backed securities, or CMBS. The delinquency rate is rising. This is the asset class that the banks fear the most right now. Why? Handful of reasons. First off, COVID caused a lot of workers to work from home. So companies did not need as much office space or any office space at all. So they started just walking away from leases, not walking away per se, but just like not renewing, things like that. So less office space in America is needed. Secondly, interest rates rising makes it a very difficult situation for commercial real estate. Everything from 5 units and up on residential and strictly commercial, triple net leases, things like that, because these loans need to be refinanced every handful of years. Usually it's a cycle of 5 years. Now, these loans are being, in the last 2 years, they're being refinanced at much higher rates. There are people defaulting on loans because they just, hey, I can't refinance the loan. I'm stuck. And at first, banks were working with them saying, okay, we'll give you a better deal, things like this. Now it's becoming too much of essentially a juggernaut that they're having to deal with. And we are seeing banks holding these CMBSs that are completely either non-performing or underperforming, and they are hurting their bank's balance sheets, right? Now we know from the last 4 or 5 banks that have collapsed, the FDIC is having a hard time liquidating their commercial mortgage book. All right, these are bad assets. This is going to get worse in the future. But check out how bad it's gotten just since January. This story is out of the commercialobserver.com. It's entitled CMBS Delinquency Rate Has Jumped 56% Since January. It said the Cred IQ CMBS delinquency rate has continued to rise, reaching 5.07% in August. Okay, a 5% delinquency rate. Think about this. Out of all the loans, the CMBS loans out there, 5% being delinquent. This is important. This is a big deal. The delinquency rate, I don't remember it off the top of my head. I want to say in 2007 or 2008, I want to say the delinquency rate was bumping in mortgage-backed loans. We were looking at 6%, 7%. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going off my memory, but I want to say it wasn't like this massive number, like 20, 25% of loans were non-performing, okay? So right now we have 5.07%. This is in August of 2023, to mark a 40 basis point increase from the month prior and a 177 basis point jump since January. Notably, 62% of the newly delinquent loans were based on their outstanding balances, were a result of maturity defaults or refinancing challenges, just like I said in the beginning. So it's a big deal. And with the CPI that just came out, much higher due to energy prices, fuel prices, do you believe that and I'm curious, type 1 if you think the Fed's going to raise rates in September, type 2 if you think they're going to pause. It's going to be hard on the back of this report, which is quote unquote a surprise, that they're not going to raise. But I do know that they also know that they have to pause a little bit to try and give these corporations that are putting out their Ks and Qs, right? Their 10Ks or annual filings or their quarterly filings. They need to give them a little bit of a reprieve. But it's going to be really hard to imagine the Fed pausing at this point with such an insane CPI print. So again, with higher rates come more delinquencies. By January, you're going to see this number explode higher. So here we go. Cred IQ's special servicing rate equal to the percentage of CMBS loans that are with the special servicer, which are either delinquent or non-delinquent, increased modestly. Now, let me back up and briefly describe. A special servicer is an office, a special office in a bank or a non-bank. A non-bank is an institution that makes loans and then sells them to, let's say, a bank or a lender like Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. Okay, I'm trying to keep this super simple, super basic. So the office of the special servicer is, oh crap, you can't pay. We're not just going to foreclose on you because this problem's a lot bigger. So we're sending you to special servicing. And that's when we try and work everything out. Like, come on, can't you just pay a little bit? Can't you just pay this much? Like, hey, let's extend your loan. Let's change the terms a little bit. But the problem is they can only change so much. They can't really go, oh yeah, let's just keep refinancing at the same rate. Because if they do that for one and it gets out, they do it for all, right? And so borrowing costs for the banks are getting more expensive. So as banks want to go make new loans, they go to the Fed or they go to somewhere else, they ask for a loan, they got to pay higher rates. So it's this sort of self-perpetuating problem, for lack of better terms. So we're talking about the percentage of CMBS loans that are with the special servicer increased modestly month over month to 6.73% from 6.72%. So we're bumping up high. The special servicing rate has continued to climb year to date in 2023, aggregating the two indicators of distress, the delinquency rate and special servicing rate. The overall distressed rate rose to 7.1%, an increase of 14 basis points. Think about this. We could be very well in double-digit numbers by mid-October. I'd be safe for sure by November. We'll be in double-digit territory for delinquencies on commercial mortgage-backed securities. Now remember, a lot of these they're not just office buildings, Costco buildings, things like triple net lease, things like that on restaurants. These are delinquencies on these big multiplex apartment complexes. We've seen a lot of them already go into foreclosure, but we're going to see a lot more pretty soon here. As a matter of fact, check this out here. Jacob sent a super chat. Thank you. Commercial appraiser here. Bank loan activity is down 70%. Values for good assets down approximately 20% in the past year. Cap rates up 200 to 300 points. Borrowers DCR 1% at refinance. You're absolutely correct. And so here's the thing. Now, this is the good point. Like he said, bank activity down, loan activity down 70%. So where are the banks getting their money? See, if they're not making new loans, they're not bringing in new money, they're not making interest, they're not bringing in capital, that means they can't refinance these. The banks are making no money, so they're sitting there like, hey, we can't keep you at that 3%. We need to either get more money out of you, or we've got to take this property and be able to sell it because we need to make money somewhere. They're starved for money. It says the month-over-month increase in the overall distress rate mirrors increases in the delinquency and special servicing rates. Distressed rates generally track slightly higher than special servicing rates, and most delinquent loans are also with the special servicer. Okay, I want to paint a picture here, and this is why it's so important. I do this better in my course, but you need to know why this is a big deal, okay? Back in 2005, when mortgage-backed securities were being found to be, they weren't at that point being fraudulent, but we knew that the credit rating or the credit worthiness of most of the borrowers in mortgages were being falsified, fluffed, whatever you want to say. That built up steam until we had so many foreclosures. Now, right now, you have seen something that's never happened in history, and that is a time of forbearance, not just in mortgages, but also in commercial properties. That has now come to an end, and we are about to see a deluge of data. When we get to see Q3 and Q4's numbers, Q4 is going to be big. When we see that in January, and then the official announcement, the start of the what's it called? Recession starts, there's gonna be pandemonium. And I want you ready for that because that's still not the time to buy, but what it does is it builds up so much confidence. And while everybody's freaking out and running for the exits, you're now starting to identify deals and start to understand market trends in your local real estate market, all right? What I'd really like to see is a lot of you becoming commercial owners, all right? That's the big money. In real estate, man, to go from residential to commercial, we're talking, 5 and up, really, I talk about how it really doesn't pencil until you go past 10 or 11 units. That's the bigger money. That's the easier cash flow, right? You have a little bit more headaches with on-site management, things like that. But my point being is that is something that's very hard for most real estate investors to jump into because of the upfront capital being the down payments being larger, things like that, and the rates. You're going to be going into a fire sale. So I want you to be able to take full advantage of that fire sale. Now it says an example of why office delinquency rates have gone up significantly per month can be seen with 995 Market Street in San Francisco, which is a total basket case anyway. It says, which is part of the LSTR 2016-4 transaction, and it had a balance of 45 million. On July 21st, it was transferred to special service, and it's currently 30. Let's see here. Sorry, my thing got messed up. It's currently 30 to 59 days behind in payments. The special servicer reports that the borrower hasn't paid for July and has indicated they won't make any more payments. So they've thrown in the towel. Unfortunately, the situation with 995 Market Street is likely to continue nationally as office vacancies increase and net absorption continues to decline. That meaning, this is just as important for residential real estate, the buyers are not there anymore. The investors are walking away, especially happening in single family homes right now. And there is a massive overproduction of homes that you don't know about that's a shadow inventory that at one point was being built up for hedge funds using your retirement funds, but now they're not getting sold. Spec homes are not being recorded as well. As days on market are extending, there's a lot of really neat ways of looking at this. I'm gonna start diving into this a little bit more when I find some time to take some notes and do a little bit more. It just blows me away. The last video I did on adjustable rate mortgages that I had edited doesn't get shared. It was like one of my worst performing videos. I'm like, here, this proof that how many people are pulling adjustable rate mortgages right now is staggering. It's so much bigger than the run up to 2008. Blows my mind. But it doesn't get shared. And I'm almost wondering why that one didn't get shared, why the live stream. And then I had it edited and I had it on the other channel about the graphs about when you compare unemployment, full employment, the difference between those two, the median house price, other costs, and you can project when the next housing crisis comes, why it's not getting shared. Now, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory or something like that. It just blows me away. So let's dive back into this. The retail distressed rates decreased slightly in August from 10.74% in July to 10.66% in August, which is an 8 basis point drop. The multifamily distress rate increased slightly. So that's getting better too. It's getting bigger of a problem. It increased slightly, rising by 31 basis points to reach 4.96% in August. So think about this. Multifamily properties, almost 5% of them right now are delinquent in their payments. Okay, do you smell the Great Recession in the air? It's like smelling snow the morning it starts. The lodging distressed rate improved slightly in August, dropping by 6 basis points to 7.69%. This improvement is due to increased business and leisure travel. So you have to look at those changes along with cyclical changes. CredIQ's CMBS distress rate by property type accounts for loans that qualify for either delinquent or special servicing subsets. For August, the overall distress rate for the CMBS increased to 6.56%, which is 13 basis points higher than May's distress rate. So we're continually rising. A severely limited refinancing market for office properties and a higher for longer interest rate environment continues to contribute to sustained increases in commercial real estate distress, right? So it's getting worse for the banks. It's important to clarify that the delinquency rate is calculated as the percentage of all delinquent loans, whether specially serviced or non-specially serviced. And I agree, it's totally fine by looking at that. I don't care if they're separated. I don't care how long these companies necessarily right now are behind in their mortgage payments, their commercial mortgage payments. I just care about how many are out there, because that just is a quick, easy baseline for the health of that market, the commercial real estate market. I think you're going to see some wild stuff. Now, there's something else I want to share with you, and I think it's really important. Another popular tourist hotspot wants to ban Airbnb. Now, this isn't America, but no, this is a thing. We've seen Dallas. We've seen when New York's working on right now. Put it down below. What other cities, metropolitan areas in the country or towns maybe are banning Airbnb or short-term vacation rentals? We knew this was going to end, and this is going to also create more properties hitting the market. Okay, so we're going to have in 2024 a deluge of inventory. Okay, but it's not the time to buy just yet. You're going to see a drop down immediate around 5 to 10% across the country because of the sheer volume, the amount of properties that hit the market, even though rates are still high. That's not the time to buy. All right. Don't take advice from me. What do I know? It says this could be, I don't even know how to pronounce that word. Let's just do this. It was only a matter of time before critical mass hit Europe's city-centered tourism economy. Over 60% of the world's population will reside in urban areas by 2030, according to the World Health Organization. While an estimated 1.58 billion tourists will cross the country borders by the same period. Well, now civic leaders at some popular European destinations have had enough and are putting curbs on tourism level. In Florence, Italy, legislators are rolling out plans to ban short-term rentals, including Airbnb. The new ban is expected to easily pass a September 13th vote and go into law by November. We are witnessing a progressive growth in the influx of tourists, which have become, tourists and migrants, have even more pronounced since the pandemic, migrants. But hey, it's what you need to get votes, I guess. So my point being is this is Florence, but it's just one example of the Airbnb model. The short-term rental model is imploding. People have had enough of it. And think about all of the people. We're talking, prime credit. Prime credit. When you're talking bigger loans, you're going for people that went and bought 5, 6, 7 homes. Let me know down in the comments below if you know people like this. I do. And they were just going to turn into mini hotel operators. And now that dream is coming crashing around them, not only because the economy is crashing and there's more and more vacancies going on these properties where they were promised, a boatload of money, but now they're starting to turn around and going, oh my gosh, this might actually get banned. So people are going to have to turn around and sell their house. So we're going to see a deluge of inventory hitting the markets. For everybody that bought the real estate crash course, I'm working on a handful of new lessons. Those should be out in the next month. And for the Auto Trader Pro course, I just uploaded a new lesson and I've got another lesson coming out tonight. So I think I've got 7 more until that course is done. I want to save you money buying cars. I want to show you how to save way more money buying homes and selling homes. I cannot wait to do this as it's crashing. This is going to be really exciting. All right, with that being said, I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.